I'm back with part 2, and as I was saying, the frustrations of Centrelink is that I have asked for processes to happen. I've asked for the right of an appeal, I've been denied that. I've asked to be listened to, I've been denied that. Why is it that Centrelink believes they have the power to destroy? I don't believe that no federal legislation is ever put in place to destroy and to erode a person's human rights. Why would that Julia Gillard, the Prime Minister of Australia, Julia Gillard, would be putting in place legislations and allowing her ministers to run around, destroy Australian citizens' human rights? We have a federal election coming up. The question that people need to be asking, that do we need a Labor Party in government? Do we need a Liberal government? It would depend. I don't vote for any of them. But at the end of the day, what is the Australian federal government doing? I would assume that the last assessment from Centrelink would say that I'm no longer banned from any Centrelink offices because I have not done anything wrong. I have not committed any crimes. I have not had a court order placed for me by a judge. I have not been against any judge and given any orders. That Centrelink has somewhat allowed to bully an Australian citizen, deny them the right to fair justice, deny them their human rights, continue to ban a person from all Centrelink offices right around Australia, deny them any right to any access to Centrelink. You might as well just not give them the pension at all. What I don't understand is that it's come down to the point where that I may have to write there's some documents, they are writs in the federal court. The applications would have to be made to the Federal Court of Australia to basically have a federal court judge sort this matter out. Now, why does it got to take a federal court judge to sort this matter out? The question is, I have the right under law to do these videos that I'm doing. I have the right to make a complaint. Even if they do fall on deaf ears, I have a right to complain. Most ministers, most senators, ministers in government would all agree that we encourage all our constituents, all voters, to talk to the ministers, liaison officers, and the departmental liaison officers about your problems, because this is how law is changed. Now, I received a letter on the 16th of April 2013 from the Australian Government Department of Human Services. There you have it there. Now, what I don't understand is, on the back of here it says that I can be put in jail if I don't comply. Well, I'm certainly complying, but then again, how do you threaten Australian citizen when they haven't broken any laws or done anything wrong? It's like this. Because we're Centrelink, we can say whatever we like, and we can do whatever we like without no evidence. No evidence. It just has to be our word and hearsay, and then we're entitled to damage this person. We're entitled to exclude this person from society. We are entitled to arbitrarily deprive a person of their human rights. My objection is that I would ask Senator AHonJan McLucas of the Cairns voters constituent region, that I would say that if your senator, your minister, is going to continue to agree with this continuation of human rights breaches and eroding someone's life and denying someone the right to be living in society and treating person with human rights, and of course I have a disability, but obviously according to Centrelink it's acceptable. Now, the simple fact is, Craig from the Department of Human Services Centrelink, it's just stated to me today that when I called him, he stated that I have no rights, I have no human rights. It is at the mercy of whoever's behind to Craig, whatever happens to me. Whenever has there been any rights and any laws? Is it going to come to the point where police have the same power and the same right? Oh, well, we'll just go and arrest this man. He's committed no offences, but we're going to arrest him and treat him badly because this is our opinion. I believe that it's not based on opinion. I believe it should be based on facts. So I'm asking Senator AHonJan McLucas, now the Minister for Human Services, the Minister for Centrelink, a Senator for Queensland. And I say to the Queensland people, do you need a Senator that is not going to stand up for human rights? Do you need a Senator that is going to agree that, okay, this is Centrelink's opinion, this is their hearsay without any evidence, and we are now going to crush this person. We're going to destroy this person's human rights. We're going to deny this person any rights. We're going to exclude them from society. They're going to be arbitrarily deprived of their rights because of what Centrelink is saying. Or is Senator Honourable AHonJan McLucas, the Senator for Queensland from the Cairns region, her electoral office is in Cairns. What I'm asking is a full investigation into why I'm being denied the right to be listened to, denied to have a full assessment from another social worker to assess me and to form an opinion that, oh, hang on, Cameron's not what everyone is saying he is. I'm asking for a fair hearing, not based on hearsay, lies, old information that is becoming like stale bread. I'm asking for a full assessment, where I'm involved in that process. I'm asking to be listened to be understood, to be part of society, not to be treated in a way that is wrongfully. And this is where I'm saying to Senator AHonJan McLucas, Senator for Queensland, Minister for Human Services, Minister for Centrelink, are you going to allow these human rights breaches to an Australian citizen? All I'm asking is for this ban to be lifted from Centrelink, that I can go and access Centrelink like any other normal person. And I think that because this situation is complex, then basically there will be need some processes in place that we need to sit down, a roundtable meeting, discuss these matters amicably in an academic way, understand fully what the process and procedure is, and basically have a good understanding, and not to continue to encourage human rights breaches and for people to be arbitrarily deprived of society and to be part of a community. I'm asking that Senator AHonJan McLucas, the Minister for Centrelink now, this is our fourth Centrelink Minister. So basically our fourth Centrelink Minister from Tanya Plibersek. What is going on, Julia Gillard, Prime Minister Julia Gillard? You've had 4 Centrelink ministers since you've been in office. It could be 5, but I know of 4 Centrelink ministers. Obviously, the best minister for the job was Tanya Plibersek, but obviously she's going to the Minister for Health. What I'm asking is, I don't need to go to the federal courts. I don't need to seek a federal barrister. I don't need to go and do a writ within the federal courts asking for the federal judge to intervene. I'm pretty sure that the Honourable Senator AHonJan McLucas, that's McLucas, AHonJan McLucas, can basically investigate this fairly, justly, allow a full assessment to be done of myself and myself to be involved in the process, allow a fair hearing, not to allow my human rights to be degraded or to be eroded, but to allow my human rights to be upheld and my rights to be upheld, not my rights to be denied. I'm asking for a full investigation, and I don't believe in one sense that Stan Neely is the service leader of Zone West. I believe that he still is Stan Neely, and I believe that he has no rights to assume or to make judgment on a person that basically wants to be part of society, does not want to be arbitrarily deprived by the federal government, denied their human rights, and somewhat being told that you've got no rights. You've got no avenue to fight this, and you have no rights. Sorry, Cameron, we're Centrelink, and what we say goes, and what we say is the law. If we say you're a murderer, Cameron, you're a murderer. If we say you're a drug addict, Cameron, you're a drug addict. and there'll be no argument. You'll do what we say you're going to do. That's how they are. But basically, if they have no rights to derode or no rights to say you are somebody you are not, that's not justice, that's injustice. And what I asked, and I challenged the Senator AHonJan McLucas, electoral office is in Cairns. She's the Federal Minister for Human Services Centrelink, the Senator for Queensland. I'm sure that the Queensland people would be disgusted to learn that the Senator Honourable Jan McLucas, the Minister for Centrelink, the Minister for Human Services, is agreeing with this unfair, unjust human rights breaches, and basically not allowing a fair process, not allowing a fair hearing. And why would you want this matter to go as far as the federal courts or to the High Court to challenge that whether a person has had their human rights breached by Centrelink? Now that's a question for Jan McLucas, the Senator Jan McLucas from Cairns, North Queensland, about 3,500 kilometres from the major city, Brisbane City. And she is the Senator of Queensland, Minister for Human Services, Senator Honourable Jan McLucas. Why would she believe for 1 minute that she would believe that human rights is entitled to be breached on Australian citizens? Why would she believe that? I don't know that whether she would believe that. But the question that I need to ask the constituents and the voters of Queensland, and also the voters and the constituents in her electoral office, electorate area, is if Jan Lucas is not willing to address these issues, is to allow Centrelink to continue to misuse legislation, to bully people, to corruptly use the system to deny a person their human rights, social justice, and deny them the right to be arbitrary, not deprived, and to be part of society. I am sure Jan McLucas, Senator Jan McLucas, the Honourable Jan McLucas, the Minister for Human Services, her electoral office again is in Cairns, and as I say to the constituents, would you agree with her just accepting this, sweeping this matter under the carpet and saying that this is an acceptable outcome? Well, because Cameron's made another 2 videos on YouTube, that is a cause to ban him from Centrelink. Well, if that's the case, then you've got to ban me from the Commonwealth Bank, you've got to ban me from every other departments that I use, because you somewhat believe that you are right, but you have no evidence, and that you deny a person their human rights. How can Centrelink misuse legislation? How can Centrelink get it wrong? Well, look at the Northern Territory. Look at Catherine. Look at the intervention the government had placed on Aboriginal people. Look what they had done to those people. Look at the stolen generation. Do we see that? We see Centrelink is abusing legislation? Do we see that Centrelink is doing the wrong things? The simple fact is, what we've got to look at here is, it doesn't matter what government's in power, but it does matter who we vote for within our electorate. Who we vote for. And what I have to question here is Honourable Senator Jan McLucas of Cairns, her electorate is Cairns. Are you about human rights? Are you about protecting the Australian citizens from breaches of human rights, and for not to be arbitrarily deprived of being part of society? I do not drink, I do not smoke, I do not take drugs. I'm not a violent person. I'm not a violent person at all, and I'd rather do what I'm doing than anything else, and that is to lobby, to protest, and to also consider other people and to consider the human rights of other people. But I've also got to consider my human rights. And I'm asking Senator Jan McLucas to fully investigate this matter and to stop this nonsense and to lift this ban and to allow me to be part of society and allow me to get on with my life and allow me to live a normal life without being arbitrarily deprived of my life. because of these restrictions